presented to the British royal family as this idea of a royal reconciliation. And we have some of the top aides having these super secret meetings here in London.
Tom Bower, honey, is not just some random internet troll spouting off drama. This man is 85 years old, a legendary royal biographer, and let me tell you, he has built his entire career on ripping apart carefully built public facades. And at this age, he's got nothing to lose. His reputation, brutal honesty. So when he opens his mouth about Meghan Markle, people don't just listen, they start taking notes. And this time, oh, he's not pulling any punches. He's going straight for the jugular, and Meghan's polished little image is trembling. At the very center of his explosive revelations lies something Meghan has tried to bury deep, deep down for years. Those never-ending whispers about her yacht girl past. Now listen, this isn't about dragging a woman for her hustle or mocking ambition. Nope, this is about contradictions. The cracks in the picture-perfect fairy tale Meghan has been desperately selling to the world. And according to Bower, those cracks aren't just small, they're gaping holes.
Packed, photographed, and every last detail in the Daily Mail. Tom Bower, what was your reaction when you saw those headlines?
I thought it was confection.
The contradictions have piled so high around Meghan that at this point, baby, you just can't ignore them. For years, she's been pushing this story. The self-made Hollywood underdog who clawed her way up with grit and grace only to land a prince and become modern-day royalty. Cute story, right? But Tom Bower, he paints a whole other picture. According to him, Meghan's rise wasn't fueled by raw talent, it was powered by connections. Exclusive yacht parties, powerful men, networking that opened doors normal folks could only dream of. Sure, Meghan has denied it all, calling the rumors sexist and defamatory. But here's the kicker. When whispers refuse to die after more than a decade, you've got to start asking why. And Bower, he claims those whispers fit a bigger pattern, one Meghan cannot escape.
It was manipulation. I thought that it showed, firstly, Harry absolutely desperate. I thought that Meredith Maines, who is a very aggressive PR for the Sussexes.
That pattern? Strict obsessive image control, endless narrative reshaping, a desperate need to micromanage every single detail of how she's seen by the world. But here's the tragic part. Bower says this whole carefully curated act crumbles the second the spotlight burns too brightly. And oh, he doesn't stop at yacht parties, he goes much deeper. What he digs up is Meghan's borderline obsession with Princess Diana. And listen, this is where things get seriously uncomfortable. Meghan has apparently been mirroring Diana in every way possible. The outfits, the poses, even that fragile emotional vulnerability Diana had that once captured the hearts of millions. But here's the difference. Diana's vulnerability was real, raw, and heartbreakingly human. Meghan's, well, it looks staged, forced, like a performance. And Bower says there's one reason why authenticity cannot be faked.
Got way beyond herself because she really doesn't understand the British royal family or Britain, but understands how to project her clients. And so I think she got it wrong by leaking it, or even letting anyone.
Diana never had to act. Her pain and vulnerability came through naturally. Meghan, on the other hand, looks like she's performing vulnerability for the cameras. And guess what? The public is catching on. Take that infamous Oprah interview, for example. Meghan thought it would be her moment to seize control of the narrative forever. But what happened? Fact-checkers shredded her claims within days. She swore she'd never Googled Harry before meeting him, yet photos exist of her wearing Diana's jewelry before their first date. She painted royal protocols like some shocking, suffocating discovery. But let's not forget, she had royal-adjacent friends years before Harry ever came into the picture. The contradictions? They piled up fast, and the shine of that interview dulled almost instantly.
That was a great mistake. And I don't think it'll produce what they hope. And I think in the end, I don't think the Sussexes themselves know what they want anymore.
And that's the problem. It isn't just one or two little fibs. No, darling, it's the buildup. Tom Bower describes it perfectly. Stack lie upon lie, and eventually they flood everything. At that point, people stop believing anything. And this is exactly where Bower shifts focus, to Meghan and Harry's marriage. Forget the fairy tale image, the Netflix deals, the hand-in-hand red carpet strolls, the picture-perfect family photos. According to Bower, it's all smoke and mirrors. A business arrangement dressed up as love. He even goes as far as claiming Meghan uses her daughter as a shield, a way to deflect criticism and twist the narrative towards sympathy whenever she's under fire.
We've also seen, haven't we, the story by Vicky Ward in the Victoria Ward in the Telegraph, where they were talking about you know, and that upset the palace quite a lot about talking about funeral arrangements and things.
Behind those glossy PR photos, things aren't nearly as sweet. Rumors swirl of a growing emotional gap between Harry and Meghan, conflicting stories about their early timeline, photo ops that scream staged rather than romantic, all pointing to a desperate attempt to cling to relevance. For a while, Hollywood played along. Meghan was actual royalty, and that title carried weight. She brushed shoulders with A-listers, mingled at elite parties, and truly believed she had the industry in her pocket. But then, boom, the shift. Calls stopped, producers whispered behind her back, and those very same celebrities who once smiled for the cameras with her quietly started keeping their distance. The shine wore off, and Bauer insists this wasn't coincidence. It was Hollywood's natural cruelty.
Legacy. And is this about looking like the bigger person? Because he preaches a lot about forgiveness. We heard him talk about open borders. Sometimes he's very kumbaya, and I wonder if he's trying to put his money where his mouth is.
One day, you're the industry's golden underdog. The next, you're the butt of every insider joke. Meghan thought her royal title guaranteed her a permanent seat at Hollywood's power table. But Bauer says that chair is wobbling, badly. Big-name producers who once scrambled to work with her now keep their distance, not because she's talentless, but because she's unpredictable. And in Hollywood, unpredictable isn't edgy, it's toxic, it's business poison. And the chill isn't just from producers. Actors, directors, influencers, everyone has started backing away. Meghan, once a golden ticket, is now a brand liability.
You know, because how can we take him seriously when he's meeting with Ukraine and Trump and trying to make peace as a global leader when he's not even at peace with his son?
Well, I think I disagree with you about that, because Charles, when he was the Prince of Wales.
And here's where it gets even juicier. According to Bauer, Meghan doesn't just bring drama into her personal life, she drags it right onto film sets and business deals. Imagine walking into a room and instantly the energy shifts. People are on edge, tension hangs in the air, and all eyes are rolling behind her back. That's the Meghan effect, he claims. And let's not sugarcoat this. Hollywood is brutal. They'll smile in your face, act like your best friend, then scribble your name off the next guest list without hesitation. Bauer insists this slow, quiet exile isn't accidental. It's intentional, a calculated move by the industry to distance themselves from her chaos. Nobody wants that cloud of drama hanging over their million-dollar projects. And let's face it, the woman has tried on every single role imaginable. The victim, the rebel, the feminist warrior, the misunderstood royal, the doting mom, the outsider fighting against the establishment. She's played them all. But instead of giving her depth, it all looks like a never-ending performance.
For anyone who said no to him. So he's a man who hates confrontation, and he has no forgiveness for people who don't agree with him. So I think the whole thing with Harry is it's guilt. I mean, it's guilt as a result of the divorce, the relationship with Diana.
And audiences? Oh honey, they're catching on. People are tired of feeling emotionally manipulated, and you can't fool the public forever. Tom Bauer delivers one of his most vicious lines here. Meghan's life doesn't look lived anymore. It looks produced, like a reality show running on autopilot. Think about it. Every photo feels staged. Every statement sounds rehearsed. Every little paparazzi shot seems like it was tipped off. The cozy Netflix moments with Harry, staged. The random photos of her grabbing coffee in California. Please, those paps didn't just magically appear. Even her casual moments drip with styling, lighting, and preparation. And Bauer says this obsessive control isn't saving her, it's destroying her.
The fact that Harry is rather dim and he didn't look after him to make sure he had a role. But more, it was neglect as well in his teenage years when he was chasing Camilla and all the rest of it.
Club H.
Because when you try so hard to look authentic, baby, you end up looking fake. And Meghan, she's fallen straight into that trap. Then comes one of Bauer's most chilling allegations, her children. According to him, Meghan doesn't just showcase motherhood, she weaponizes it. Think about the timing. Whenever criticism gets too loud, suddenly there's a glossy shot of her baking cookies with little Lilibet. Or Harry casually dropping bedtime stories about Archie into an interview. Coincidence? Bauer says no. It's deflection. Pure and simple, a way to soften headlines and shift focus away from controversy. And honestly, that tactic leaves a sour taste in people's mouths every single time.
Yeah. Well,
This guy's not trusted.
Rob, when Harry made that dash to London, when the King revealed his cancer, to my surprise, Camilla was in the room for the 30 minutes. And she was there to make absolutely certain that Harry...
That's true.
You don't think she was there?
No, I don't. In fact, I'm pretty certain.
And here's where the Diana obsession creeps back in. Obsession isn't even an exaggeration, according to Bauer. Meghan has studied Diana like she's preparing for a film role, down to wardrobe choices and camera angles. But here's the problem. Diana Diana's sadness broke hearts because it was raw, spontaneous, unfiltered. Meghan's sadness, it looks packaged, scripted, like she's trying to sell sorrow instead of feel it. And the public, they see right through it. Instead of inspiring sympathy, these attempts spark eye rolls. As Bauer puts it bluntly, you can't be Diana. Diana was natural, beloved, and tragically human. Meghan, he says, is none of those things. The public doesn't see tributes anymore. They see knockoffs.
It's going to be a draw there.
And I think it's interesting because we always say, look at what he did to William and Catherine, and that is very important. And I believe it was cruel. You're suing all of these newspapers for leaking private information while publishing private text.
And the harshest reality? People just assume she's lying now. Every claim she makes is met with instant skepticism. Even when she's telling the truth, it sounds fake because her credibility is in tatters. And once someone gets branded as dishonest, good luck clawing back trust. Bauer hammers this point home. This isn't about being flawed. Everyone has flaws. This is about faking perfection for far too long. Meghan hasn't just lost control of her narrative. She's lost the one weapon that once gave her real power: public sympathy. Remember when she was the outsider stepping into the stiff, old-fashioned monarchy? American, biracial, independent? She symbolized change. Back then, people rooted for her. Now, that shine is long gone.
Present moment is, I don't think he feels in any way guilty. I don't think Harry feels any remorse. And I think that is the key thing in all this reconciliation. He still thinks that he's owed an apology from Charles and from William for the way they've treated not only him but also Meghan.
What once made Meghan compelling, the contrast, the outsider energy, the hope of fresh air, has now collapsed. Not because of who she is, but because of what she kept pretending to be. Tom Bauer doesn't mince words, he calls it the collapse of a brand. And that's the catch. Meghan isn't viewed as a person anymore. She's a brand. Every glossy partnership, every staged appearance, every carefully crafted interview, it all screams branding, not authenticity. And when the contradictions stack up too high, the brand itself crumbles. Proof? Look no further than Spotify. That multi-million-dollar podcast deal hyped to the heavens, gone with a whisper. Spotify, once thrilled to showcase Meghan's voice, walked away with almost nothing to show. Insiders spilled the tea. The podcast lacked substance. Fluffy, shallow, and let's be real, Meghan barely did the work. Some even claimed she outsourced most of it while pocketing the check. That wasn't just a failed venture, it was a giant red flag for the entire industry. If Spotify, with all its resources, couldn't make it work with a duchess, why would anyone else risk it? And then came Netflix, the supposed crown jewel of Meghan and Harry's empire. At first, it was the deal of the century. But slowly, the cracks started showing. Viewership underperformed, follow-up projects fizzled, and executives started whispering about the same issues again. Too much control, not enough collaboration. And here's the real kicker. Even the royal family, who are world champions at biting their tongues, have basically iced Meghan out. Charles won't mention her name, William refuses to bring her up, and Kate, she acts like Meghan doesn't even exist. The silence is deafening. And honestly, it's all about damage control now. For the royals, pretending Meghan isn't there is easier than dealing with the hurricane of chaos she drags into every room. And while they've quietly turned their backs, the internet has been merciless. Clips of Meghan's interviews get chopped up and mocked online. Her speeches, pulled apart for contradictions. Old footage keeps resurfacing, going viral again and again, always with sarcastic captions that peel back every layer of polish she tries to slap on. Even her once loyal defenders are vanishing, either silent or straight up critical. Meghan isn't the hero anymore, or even the villain. She's a giant question mark. People don't know what to believe, and in the world of PR, confusion is just as deadly as scandal. Tom Bauer's sharpest line sums it up. Her lies could flood the earth. Dramatic? Sure. But look closer, it makes sense. When you spin too many stories, the crowd eventually stops listening, and that's the wall Meghan has smacked into headfirst. The contradictions, the staged photo ops, the flopped projects, they've snowballed into one brutal reality. The Meghan brand is collapsing, and it's happening in real time. Once, she truly believed she could control the story forever, that with the right lighting, the perfect angle, and a carefully placed headline, she could dictate how the world saw her. But now, the world's sick of it, tired of the spin. What people want is real, raw authenticity. And Meghan, despite all her attempts, just doesn't give off real anymore. The fairy tale has cracked. What's left? Fallout? So what's left? A collapsing brand playing out in real time. Meghan thought she could outsmart the game forever, that by crafting image after image, narrative after narrative, she could stay untouchable. But the public's over it. They don't want the glossy angles anymore. They want honesty. And Meghan's carefully constructed fairy tale just doesn't ring true. Tom Bower is blunt. This isn't just a setback, it's the end game. The downfall of Meghan, not as a person, but as an icon, as a brand, as a story the world once bought into. And the saddest part? She doesn't even seem to realize it yet. While she's still busy staging the next photo shoot or dropping the next podcast tease, the audience has already left the theater. The fairy tale has ended. What remains is the fallout.